Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagawatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavato Sahana Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandhadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sankapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasti Tadadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidhusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om. So namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guruji, Pranam.
Pranam.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Very happy Navaratri going on right now.
Namaste Guruji.
Because of which we are having some casualties in the attendance also, which is okay. I mean, not a problem. Some ladies are busy with Navaratri Gulu visits and all that. Okay. We'll continue. So we are seeing this very, I would call it, looks like a complicated sloka, but we will see it in detail, discuss it. Karmanya karmayah pashyet akarmani cha karmayah sabuddhiman manushyeshu sayukta krishna karma krita. So, very important and a tricky words with which Krishna starts describing what is meant by jnanam, knowledge, which has the power to liberate a person. And as I said in the last class, from this 18th verse onwards up to the 24th verse, Krishna deals with self-knowledge, which is a solution for all human problems. And in this portion, consisting of 7 verses, Krishna condenses the teachings of all Upanishads. And this verse is considered to be a significant verse, not only significant, but probably a little bit difficult to understand also, because Krishna uses the language of contradiction to challenge our intellect. This sloka could be confusing if you do not understand the meaning very carefully. And such verses are there in the Mahabharata. They are called naughty verses. Naughty in the sense Knotty. We can use Naughty also because they, in some way they are all very naughty also. They are difficult to understand, difficult to comprehend. And as I told you earlier also, and I probably repeated it in last satsang, the satsang in the last class, when Vyasacharya wanted Lord Ganesha to become his scribe, to write down the Mahabharata, Ganesha had a condition that once once Ganesha started writing, Vyasacharya will not stop dictating. He has to continuously dictate. And then only Ganesha will accept this, responsibility of being his scribe, or whatever you can call stenographer, or whatever it is. So Vyasacharya will have to continuously dictate. And if there was a gap in the dictation, Ganesha will disappear. This was the condition. Now Vyasacharya obviously was not reading from a book or something so that he can continuously dictate. He had to compose the verses and then dictate those verses. And composing requires some thinking. Maybe not all, given Vyasacharya's Vishala Buddhehe, broad intellect, he did not require the kind of thinking we would require. But still, when he has to adhere to the meter and so many grammatical rules and things like that and all, sometimes some thinking will be required on his part. And because of which there could be gaps in the dictation. Now, how to counter that? And given Vyasacharya's brilliance, he accepted the condition. He said, okay, I will continue to dictate and you write. But there is one counter condition. He put to Lord Ganesha. And that condition was that before writing down the slokas, Ganesha should understand the meaning of each of these slokas. If he doesn't understand the meaning, then he should not write. So what happens is, even today, we have seen otherwise also, whoever takes a dictation, they tend to be mechanical. At the time of taking the dictation, they will not apply their mind, but just write down whatever is spoken. In fact, like Ramuji and all that, who have done a lot of transcription of Swami Paramathananda's talks, he will understand. The first draft will always be whatever you hear, whatever is spoken, you just type it down. And then later on, second round, third round, you go and edit and clean up that entire text rather. So whenever we are taking a dictation, we will not apply our mind whether this is correct, this is the grammar is correct, etc. In the earlier days, of course, now I think that tribe has vanished. There used to be stenographers in most of the companies. And they used a script called shorthand to take the dictation. Some of you will still be familiar because you all belong to that generation. And the shorthand, Pitmans or somebody who actually was the one who invented the shorthand for dictation purpose, they can write very fast in that because it's all some strokes and gaps and things like that and all. It's not alphabets. But the problem was that whoever takes the dictation in shorthand, only that person can read what they have taken down. Other people, if they see, they will not be able to make out what it is. But everybody develops a style of their own rather. So once they have taken the dictation, later on, they would convert the script, which is in shorthand, into English language. And they will discover all the mistakes, grammatical mistakes and all, because, as I said, while taking dictation, it will be a mechanical job. Therefore, knowing all these things, Vyasacharya put a counter condition that Ganesha should know the meaning. And this was a brilliant way to manage the condition put by Lord Ganesha. So what Vyasacharya used to do was, he would compose many verses in one go and dictate. And when that quote was exhausted towards the end, he would compose a naughty verse. It is called Grantha Grandhi, and not the words which will be difficult to understand. So when such a verse came, Ganesha would be forced to stop and think of the meaning, because without knowing the meaning, he was not supposed to write. And by the time Ganesha would think about the meaning of that verse and understand the meaning and write it down, Vyasacharya would have composed the next 1,000 verses and then be ready. As you know, Mahabharata contains more than 100,000 verses. Therefore, Gita being part of Mahabharata, in Gita also, we come across a few of such naughty verses rather. If you recall, we saw one verse in the second chapter, similar verse, difficult to understand. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. That was, I explained this whole thing that time also in the second chapter. We'll come across one more in the 9th chapter. That he starts, Krishna starts with Matstani sarva bhutani chaham teshu avastita hai. Then in the next line, next sloka, he will start Nachapatstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram. There also he uses Mastani sarva bhutani. All beings are in me. Nachapatstani bhutani. I am not in any of the beings. So this is again contradiction. When everybody is in you, you should also be in everybody, isn't it? But he says they are all in me, but I am not in anybody. So these are all kind of, the tricky verses which Vyasacharya has composed in order to gain time from Ganesha for more compositions rather. So similarly, this is also a naughty verse, as I said, and without Shankaracharya's commentary, we would not have been able to understand this verse and grasp the meaning rather. But having said all these things, if we are able to get hold of the key to unraveling such verses, they become very, very easy to understand. It is just like, in mathematics, we will find there are some problems which are very tough to solve. But you know which formula is to be applied for solving such complicated problems. Once you know that formula and apply it, that problem, that question becomes very easy to solve. That mathematical equation becomes very easy to solve. Therefore, in the context of Bhagavad Gita, such verses can be clearly understood only when we know the basic teaching of Vedanta. We must have that background of basic teaching of Vedanta to understand such verses. And what is that? We have already seen that. Every individual consists of two parts in his personality. One is the body, mind, sense complex part called Anatma. The Anatma Amsha or Deha Amsha. Second part is called the consciousness principle, which pervades the body, mind, sense complex, and because of which alone the body, mind, sense complex is sentient. And we also saw the example, just as the bulb, light bulb, is not an individual entity. A light bulb consists of two parts, the bulb and the filament. So the bulb we can probably compare it to Stula Shariram. Filament may be compared to the Sukshma Shariram. Just a crude comparison. One can always come up with challenge such comparisons because no example is perfect. But it is useful to convey a certain idea. Normally we think that the bulb and the filament together, they are giving light. Isn't it? But we don't realize that apart from the bulb and filament, there is another invisible principle because of which alone bulb has become a source of light. with the help of filament. What is that principle? Invisible electricity principle. So without electricity, bulb filament may be there, but it may not give any light. So similarly, according to Vedanta, every individual has got a bulb and filament, the Stula and Sukshma Shariram, which is called Deha, you can call, or Anatma. And there is another principle, another invisible principle like electricity, which is inherently pervading this body, mind, sense complex. And that principle is called consciousness. And as the electricity is an independent principle which continues even when the bulb or filament are broken, Vedanta says the body, mind, sense complex is blessed by this consciousness principle, and it will continue to exist even when the body, mind, sense complex are not there. So even though the bulbs or the bodies are many in number, just like in the case of an example of a bulb, there may be many bulbs, but the electricity flowing through all of them is only one, which is not only in every bulb, but it is in between the bulbs also, which of course we cannot see. It is flowing through that wires which connect the bulb. And wherever there is a medium of manifestation, like a bulb, the electricity expresses in the form of light or fan or any gadget. So, like the electricity which powers the bulbs and gadgets, consciousness powers the body, mind, sense complex, blesses the body, mind, sense complex and makes it sentient, makes it live, makes it capable of transacting with the world. And this consciousness principle is called Atma, body, mind principle is called Anatma or Ahankara also. Shastra, some places, the ego, the Ahankara, that is described as the Anatma rather. So the body mind principle is called Deha, consciousness principle is called Dehi. All Sanskrit, of course. Dehamasya asti iti Dehi. The one which has the body is the Dehi. And we have already studied elaborately about Atma, Anatma and all the second chapter. And I only hope you remember all the details. And there we saw that Atma is one, Anatmas are many, just like the electricity is one, bulbs are many. Secondly, Atma is all pervading, whereas Anatma is limited. Atma is Nityam, Anatma is Anityam. Atma is Ekam, Anatma is Anekam. Atma is Nirgunam, Anatma is Sagunam. Atma is Nirvikaram, Anatma is Savikaram. Like this, we saw various differences between Atma and Anatma. If you do not recall, I suggest you revise the second chapter, because I will not be repeating all that what we have already studied. Okay. And there, while talking about the differences, there was one difference that was emphasized and which is going to be emphasized in this portion also. And what is that one difference which is most crucial difference? That difference is the consciousness principle, the Atma being all pervasive like the space, it cannot do any action. Why can't it do any action? Because action involves movement. If you analyze any action, it involves movement, especially physical action involves movement. Mental action also involves mental movement, isn't it? Which is called thought movement. Therefore, whether physical or mental, any action involves movement. Shastra says chalanatmakam karma. And whatever cannot move cannot do action. A big piece of rock cannot move. It cannot do any action. That is why, the space element also cannot do any action because it is all pervading. Vayu can do action, can move, traveling from one place to another. Agni, fire can move. Water can move. Prithvi, the earth can move. Therefore, they can all do lots of action, these four elements. Whereas space, Akasha, being all pervasive, there is no space for the space to move. So Akasha is Akarta, non-doer. It cannot involve itself in any action. And therefore, the first lesson that Krishna wants to emphasize in this shloka is that Atma, the awareness principle, the consciousness principle, is ever the actionless. It is ever free from karma. We must be careful. Free does not mean that it has renounced the karma. In fact, it need not renounce karma because it was never capable of performing any karma. Where you can only renounce what you possess. You can only give up what you have. So Krishna wants to say that the consciousness principle was ever free from karma, is ever free from karma, and will be ever free from karma. This is the lesson we have to keep in mind. First lesson, most important. And the second lesson that Krishna wants to give is that the body, mind, sense complex, otherwise, as I said, ahankara or ego, can never be free from action because it is a finite entity. It is a material entity. It is made up of matter. It contains, scientifically speaking, many chemicals, varieties of chemicals put together. That's why we call it biochemistry. And from a Shastric point of view, we say the body consists of 5 elements, Panchabhutas. Therefore, it is a Panchabhautika Shariram. And matter, which is eternally in motion. So, while consciousness or Atma is eternally motionless, matter is in eternal motion. And that is why even when we see a motionless object like a wall, superficially seeing it may appear motionless, but scientifically if you study, it is nothing but a bundle of atoms consisting of neutrons, protons, electrons, etc. And these are all constantly in motion. That's what science tells us. These electrons are all constantly in motion. So even though the object appears to be motionless, but at the subtle level, it is constantly moving. And this is beautifully depicted in the eternal cosmic dance of Nataraja. Because this Nataraja dance form has been a subject matter of extensive research, especially by many Westerners, including famous scientists like Carl Sagan, Fritz of Capra, Aldous Huxley, etc. Fritz of Capra, he authored a book also called the Tao of Physics, Tao of Physics, where he deals with this cosmic dance of Nataraja. So all these scientists, they have actually grappled with this cosmic dance form extensively. It's only in India we have got such a poor understanding of our own heritage and religion. So much beautiful symbolisms are there throughout our history, throughout our heritage, throughout our culture. But we are so ignorant of all those things. And many times it requires Westerners to point out to us what is the glory in our own culture, rather. And in fact, this Fritz of Capra, he raises a question. How do we know that Nataraja is eternally dancing? He says, if you look at his hair, the jata, it is always parallel to the ground. And it is possible only when it is fiercely moving. You see how beautifully that Nataraja symbolism of the cosmic movement is depicted. And Nataraja stands for Vishwarupa, the universal form. Therefore, you take the smallest atom, it is in perpetual motion. You take a biggest galaxy, it is also in constant motion. The earth itself is rotating at 1,000 miles per hour. And it is moving around the sun, and at what speed? 67,000 miles per hour. Earth in 1 second moves 18.5 miles. And we are all moving along with the earth. So we are also going around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. Not only the earth, the whole galaxy to which we belong, the Milky Way galaxy as they call it, that is also moving. And again, maybe some millions of miles per hour or something like that. So the point is, at the Anatma level, motion can never stop. It is eternally in motion. And even when you see Anatma is at rest, even at that time also, there is an actual motion or motion in a potential form. So even though when I am not doing any action, like when I am in deep sleep state, my mind is resolved, no thoughts are there. There is a potentiality for action in that form also. Because when I wake up, the whole thing, the whole act, it springs like a it's like a spring in tension. It is waiting to get into action. So either actual action or potential action is always present in Anatma. Therefore, what Krishna wants to say in this sloka is, at the Anatma level, karma cannot be given up. And at the Atma level, karma need not be given up. Therefore, what is the wisdom? Wisdom is accept all actions at Anatma level. Never try to escape from action. And own up all the actionlessness or permanent rest at the Atma level. I, as Atma, am ever restful, peaceful. At Anatma level, one action or the other will always be there all the time. If we understand and assimilate this fact, then it becomes very easy to understand this verse. And that wisdom is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa. And that is the title of this chapter. And this is the idea which Krishna wants to convey in this verse. Why he has brought it up? Mainly because Arjuna is wanting to run away. He wants to avoid all his duties, his actions, which is his responsibility, and run away. He thinks that by going and taking sannyasa, being actionless, he will be good. It will be the best for him. Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna and through Arjuna to all of us, don't be under such illusions rather. That is not the way to understand what is akartritvam or actionlessness. That's why he brings in this sloka, which is the, as I said, the core of all Upanishads. So we will see the details of the sloka. He says, Karmani akarma yah pashyet. Akarma yah pashyet, yah pashyet, the one who sees actionlessness of the Atma, the permanent peace of the Atma, when karmani, even when there are actions at the anatma level, such a person is a wise man. Therefore, he does not find peace by stopping the action, but he discovers peace in spite of the action. Therefore, the advice is, do not try to get peace by stopping the action. One can perhaps retire from one's job. One can hang his boots, as the saying goes. But no one can retire from karma. Many people think that if you go to a Gurukulam or an ashramam, etc., they will be free from actions and there will be peace. It is just like waiting for the waves to stop for entering into the sea. And that's why many people say, I will start Vedanta after I have completed all my duties and responsibilities. They don't realize that that day will never come. You will never ever be free from your duties and responsibilities and action at the anatma level. So the lesson is, never try for leisure at the end of action. Discover leisure amidst action. Discover leisure in spite of action. Therefore, a jnani sees inner actionlessness amidst outer activity. Inner actionlessness means what? Actionlessness at the level of Atma. Outer action means action at the level of Anatma. Therefore, we can rephrase the words of the sloka. Karmani anatmanah akarma atmanah yah pashyet. So amidst all actions of the anatma, the one who is able to perceive, own up, claim actionlessness at the atma level, he is a jnani. And we have discussed this earlier also, the example of the light falling on the hand. Even when the hands are moving, there is something which is not moving, which is the light. The light is pervading the hand, which is also pervading the whole room. The light illumines the hand, because of which we are able to actually see the hand. The hand is known. But that light does not have any motion, even when the hand is moving. Similarly, even when the body, mind, sense complex are violently active, what does not move? The awareness principle does not move at all. And the Jnani turns his attention towards that awareness principle. So despite being involved in so many activities, a Jnani is able to detach himself from those activities, intellectually detach, not physically detach, by turning his attention towards the consciousness principle. Like in a movie, even when the characters are violently moving, what does not move is the screen. In fact, the movie is possible. We can enjoy the movie only if the characters move and the screen does not move. You imagine the reverse situation. The screen is moving and the characters are stationary. Can we imagine such a situation? Will we enjoy such a movie? In the same manner, life is like a movie in which awareness or consciousness is the screen. The whole life is being played like a drama on that screen of consciousness. So, life is activity filled anatma, which is projected on the motionless screen. Therefore, like a Jnani, what Krishna wants to say is, therefore, Arjuna, like a Jnani, turn your attention to the motionless screen and recognize the screen and then enjoy the movie of life. If you understand that, you will really you will really enjoy the movie of life. So this is the first part. What is the second part? Akarmani cha karma pashyati. The wise person sees action in the inaction. One can understand, okay, if you understand anatma, atma, and then action at the anatma level, inaction at the anatma level, one can understand. Fine. But what is this contradiction? Akarmani cha karma pashyati. Wise person sees action in inaction. How is that possible? Here, what Krishna wants to convey is when the body mind sense complex is resting, either as I gave the example of Sushupti, deep sleep, or even any other time of the day, you're just resting, having an afternoon nap. Superficially seeing, it looks like the anatma is actionless. And that is what everybody will say. Like the wall example I quoted. So Krishna wants to say that even when the body, mind, sense complex is actionless, when the anatma is actionless, appears to be actionless, there are actions in potential form existing in the anatma. That's why, when we go to bed, most people, what they will do, oh, tomorrow is so and so day, Monday or Tuesday. I have to do so many things tomorrow. I've got a meeting at so and so time. My wife, I have to take her for shopping. Navaratri is coming. She has insisted that we should go. If we go a week later, there will be huge crowd. So we should go tomorrow. So that is something. So like that in your mind, there are a lot of potential actions waiting for you to wake up from that sleep and perform them. So during sleep, you're actionless, but the potential for action is always there, which you are aware of. And the moment you wake up, you become aware, and then you do all those actions. You have to go here, you have to go there, you have to do this, you have to do that, etc. So just spring from the bed and rush. During sleep, what happened to all these actions? It is not that they were absent, they were all waiting in seed form. So, what is the meaning of this particular portion? A wise person sees potential action. So, here we have to understand the word karma as potential action in in actionlessness of the body mind complex. So a wise person sees potential action in the actionlessness of the body mind sense complex, which means that the body mind sense complex is ever active, either outwardly active, explicitly active, or potentially active. Whereas Atma is ever actionless. And therefore, what should a person do? A wise person should be aware of this fact. And whenever action begins to overwhelm a person, he should remember this. Because in life, we enter into various activities. So many responsibilities we take over. So many possessions we gather, and then we spend time in protecting or safeguarding those possessions. Later, what happens? We reach the stage that all these activities of doing this becomes overwhelming. We don't know how to get out. We know how to enter, like Abhimanyu's Padma Vyuham. But the problem is Abhimanyu, like us, did not know how to get out of it. Similarly, we put our hands and legs all over, and later we do not know how to come out of it. In fact, some people give an example of a person holding to the tail of a tiger. The tiger will keep moving, but he cannot hold on to it because the tiger will drag him along wherever it goes. And he cannot leave the tail also because then the tiger will turn against him and pounce on him and eat him up. Similarly, I enter into so many fields, so many relationships, but I do not know how to get out. And that is the time when we feel that we have been caught up in a snare. We are struggling and suffering. When we feel the actions are overwhelming. As long as you are enjoying the actions, no problem. But when the actions become overwhelming, you look for some place which is free from disturbances. Shantam Shivam. And the only place, only center which is eternally calm is what? Your own Swarupa, your own nature. So, despite all these actions, despite all these frustrations, despite all these disturbances, this overwhelming nature of these actions, despite all of them, if I know how to dip into my Shanta Swarupam, it is like deriving tremendous inner strength. And with that revitalized strength, we can get into more and more activity and enjoy. And therefore, a wise person enjoys all activity he does. And whenever he wants to stop the activity, but still continue with the enjoyment, with the happiness, with the peace that he is enjoying, he knows how to dip into his Swarupa. If he remembers this sloka, he will remember how to do that. A wise person's constant refrain is Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham nacha srota jikve nacha grana netre nacha vyoma bhumirna tejo na vayuhu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. There is that tranquility, that calmness, which is there in all of us. That ocean of peace, that calmness is our very nature. Only we should know how to dip into that ocean. And Bhagavan wants to give us a taste of that Ananda through this sloka. This is a trailer. Bhagavan wants to show what Ananda Swarupam means. We say the Atma is defined as Satchit, Sat Chit Ananda. Sat we know pure existence. Chit we know pure consciousness. What is that Ananda? We say, some people translate it as bliss. Some people translate Ananda as eternal happiness. So whenever we are talking about that eternal happiness or bliss or whatever name you want to give, what is that Ananda Swarupa means? Bhagavan wants to give through this sloka. And he also wants to reveal the secret. What is the secret? He wants to give you the taste of disidentifying from the body, mind, sense complex, which in any case we enjoy during sleep, deep sleep every day. We don't realize all these things, but everything happens. In deep sleep state, we are no more identified with our body. We are not identified with their mind. Therefore, at that point, we do not have a karta personality at all. We cannot do any action. Karta is fully resolved. And because karta is resolved, the bhokta is also resolved. The doer, enjoyer don't exist at that point in time. In that state of deep sleep, what is there? Absolute ananda. Only happiness, eternal happiness. So trainer Bhagavan has told you, see, this is the secret. Observe your deep sleep state. Are you happy? Are you relaxed? Are you peaceful? Do you feel energetic? Revitalized when you wake up? If your answer is yes to all of that, that is the secret. Where all that you have done is you have not destroyed your body, mind, sense complex. All that you have done is you have disidentified yourself with the body, mind, sense complex, and you have identified yourself with the consciousness principle. And that has given you all this peace, this happiness, this energy, and all these things. That's why after a deep sleep, when we get up, we are so relaxed, so happy. Oh, I had a fantastic sleep. Completely relaxing. No thought in my mind, no dreams, nothing. Fantastic it was. And mind you, that deep sleep state, even if it 5 minutes, 10 minutes it lasts, that itself is sufficient for you to be revitalized or become very energetic. It is not that you have to sleep for 8 hours. That small time is enough. And that's why, when we are very sleepy, we don't see where we are. We are prepared to sleep anywhere, whether it is in the bus stop or in railway station or in the compartment, or even while sitting and traveling in a bus, we are prepared to sleep. And we enjoy that blissful state of Ananda. All along, we have foolishly believed that the source of our Ananda is the sense objects. But in deep sleep state, the sense organs, the sense object, they are all totally resolved. So what is the source of Ananda in the deep sleep state? That Ananda you are getting because you are dipping into your own nature. You are dipping into your own inner Atma Swarupam. Of course, given the importance that we give to our ego, we get up and then get into trouble. We lose that Ananda the moment we get up. But for a Jnani, he has this Atma Ananda available all the time. Because he understands it is his very nature. I can dip into that at any time and I can relax, I can be peaceful, I can be happy. And therefore Krishna says, Saha Buddhiman, such a person is a wise person. Manushyeshu, among all human beings. Saha Yuktaha, he is the real yogi. Krishna Karma Krit, he is a person of fulfillment. He is a one who understands Purnatvam. He understands that he does not require anything to be happy. Therefore, he or she enjoys total fulfillment at all the times. So, this understanding of this verse requires what? Atma Anatma Viveka. The difference between the higher I in me, which is called Atma, pure consciousness, which is my real self, and the lower I in me, which is Anatma, which is the body, mind, sense complex, which also we call Ahankara. And Krishna wants to highlight one aspect of Atma here, which is mainly Atma is Akarta. It does not perform any action at all. It is only a Sakshi, a witness. The lower I is nothing but the mind and mind principle. And according to the scriptures, the mind itself, by itself, is inert, but the mind becomes sentient, blessed by the higher I, the consciousness. So, given that this verse is a very subtle verse, Krishna realizes that there could be difficulty in understanding this verse because he has used the language of contradiction. Therefore, he himself elaborates this verse, 18th verse, in the following verses, 19 to 24. 6 verses he elaborates this verse. Therefore, all these verses, 19 to 24, we can say they are commentary on the 18th verse. So let us read the 19th verse. Yasya sarve samarambah kama sankalpa varjitah jnanagnidagda karmanam tamahuf panditam buddha. The anvaya of the sloka is Yasya sarve samarambah kama sankalpa varjitah jnana agni dagda karmanam buddha ahuhu tam panditam. Very simple anvaya. The sloka itself is almost in a prose form from the language perspective. So the word meanings, yasya, he who, sarve samarambah, all actions are all, kama sankalpa varjita, free from desires and fancies, jnana agni dagda karmanam, and whose actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge. Buddha ahuhutam. Sages call him Panditam, the wise. So he whose actions are all free from desires and fancies, and whose actions are burnt by the fire of knowledge. Sages call him wise, Jnani. You must recall, uses Krishna has used earlier also the word Panditam for a Jnani. You all know where? I will leave you to search for it. Remember, where did Krishna use the word Pandita for a Jnani?
Chapter 1, I think.
Chapter 2, 11th sloka. Ashochya nanna shochastvam
You speak like Pandit.
pragyavadanscha bhashase gatasu nagatasuscha nanu shochanti pandita. So whenever we come across the word Pandita in Bhagavad Gita especially, we must understand he is talking about a Jnani. Pandita does not mean, as a colloquially, Pandita means a learned person. But here, the learning is self-knowledge. Anyhow, this is aside rather. So, as I said, these verses, 19 to 24, is a commentary on the previous verse, the 18th verse, which is the key verse. So now, by understanding the meaning of the 18th verse, once a Jnani has discovered Purnatvam, will there be any motive in him to do any work? Is a basic question, right? I said Jnani does not require anything to be happy. We do all the karmas only for one purpose, basic purpose is to be happy. If you analyze all karmas, chain of karmas, eventually what we are looking for, happiness. So the basic question is, when you say that Jnani does not require anything, he does not have any desire, he realizes himself to be fulfilled, complete in all respects, he is Purna. Will there be any motive in him to do any work? And this is not a theoretical question. Many people ask this question. And in fact, they misunderstand that a Jnani need not do any work. It is a preference. If he wants, he can do. He doesn't want, he need not do. It's a basic misunderstanding that people have because they have not fully absorbed the import of the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Earlier also Krishna told Arjuna, you cannot avoid karma at all because the karma is a dharma of your anatma, your body, mind, sense complex. So as long as you are possessing this body, mind, sense complex, actions you cannot avoid. But many people say by taking sannyasa, I will avoid all actions and all. That is never ever going to happen. And they say, because Jnani is Purna, there is no dissatisfaction in him. And all our karmas are born out of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction leads to desires. Desires leads to karma or action. And that's why they also say, there's a popular saying, necessity is the mother of invention, etc. So they say, the general complaint is that people are working and accomplishing because they have dissatisfaction. And therefore, dissatisfaction is the motive force for all actions. If all people are going to be satisfied with themselves, aham purnaha, there will be no motive for work. Thus, the whole world will be contented, and people ask contented means you do not work, you need not work. This is what people understand by what is contentment. I think it's time now. We'll stop and continue in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Dhanyawad.
Dhanyavada.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskar, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
Guruji, just one question.
Yes.
Not question, it's my request. The 18th verse which you said is so, I mean, it is so deep, and actually it's working in my mind. But before you go into the commentaries for the next floor, can we have a brief on this again in the next class?
We'll do. Yeah.
Because
I will highlight on
it's
the
easily
important-
understand
Even because-
action in action and inaction in action. Very easily grasped as a phrase I can understand, but the depth of it is not that simple as what is the verse.
Even
It will
without
be
your
nice.
asking, I was thinking of doing that because this requires 2-3 times repetition.
Thank you so
Will
much.
come in between 19 to 24 also. We will bring back, because as I said, this is the core of that whole teaching of Upanishads. If you grasp this, you have got your key door opened for moksha. If you don't understand this, you will be going round and round and round in with Upanishads without understanding anything or without realizing the benefits of the Upanishad study. Right?
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita study is nothing but Upanishad study only. Bhagavad Gita, in fact, is like wider than the Upanishad, because Bhagavad Gita brings in lot of other subsidiary information also. Because Krishna understands that a person reading Bhagavad Gita will have so many other questions also. Questions on bhakti, questions on yoga, and all that will be there. So Krishna tries his best to address all those questions also in the Bhagavad Gita. Whereas if you go to the Upanishads, you will not find any of these things in Upanishads.
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita then becomes a very beautiful, what I can call a bouquet, we are having different flowers. Some main flowers are there, but it's a beautiful bouquet for us to understand. So we will cover all, but as you say, even otherwise, I was thinking that this is a crucial verse. We must keep repeating it, recalling it. Well, I'll do that. No. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Very superficially, long back, one of these Tamil serials used to be there. It was a very, very a good serial. I mean, content and all is not, but the title of the serial was Nimmadi Nimmadi Ungal Choice. I mean, it was a very, very sound philosophy, I thought.
Absolutely. And we have to move towards that, right?
Yeah, yes.
And I can assure you, promise you, on behalf of the Shastras, that you can reach that stage. Despite all actions that you are doing with your body, mind, sense complex, you can remain calm, you can remain composed, you can enjoy that inner peace. That is what happiness is all about. It is possible. So we will do that.
Thank you, Guru. Thank you so much.
Hari Om. Yes, Hariji, what's your question?
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
I have not one question. I have got many questions.
Okay.
For many questions.
Okay. You want to do everything today or keep something for the next class?
No. Instead of as Krishnan sir was asking, instead of the verse 18, can we make that as 2-3 question answer sessions? So that we come,
Session is
we
that for
prepare
that
ourselves.
this session, Satsanga session
No,
is
not a,
that only.
no,
You ask a
satsang
question.
is,
Hmm?
yeah, even during the class itself,
No, class
so
I
that
want to
the
discourage
repetition,
because then what happens in question
this
and
will not be a class.
No,
This will
thoughts
be a
will
class.
break, I think.
session. You
No,
may-
no. My suggestion is that will be only question answer session. We will ask question and you will, so that we come prepared.
Okay.
See, in the satsang, we ask question only when we are listening to you and we have got queries.
Hmm.
Whereas in the question answer, serious question answer session, then we do some preparation at home. We fully come prepared, then ask questions.
We'll do this way.
Ra,
Let me complete up to 24th sloka.
okay,
Because what will happen,
okay.
many
Yeah.
of your questions may get answered when we are discussing the sloka 19 to 24.
Okay.
After that, we can think still questions are there. Then we can schedule a one class only question answer class on this particular topic.
Okay.
We can
Done.
do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
think-
want
No,
I don't want to reveal everything in the question answer session, and then the class itself will become redundant. Because I'm sure,
yeah, okay.
I'm sure that many questions will be answered from 19 to 24 slokas,
Okay.
given the nature
Okay.
of the 18th sloka.
Okay. So anyway, you are going to repeat next class.
Next class,
The 18.
the beginning, I will give a summary of what that 18th chapter, what are the important 18th sloka, highlighting the important teachings in that.
Okay.
Then we'll go to
Now,
19th, 20th, 21, like that. Once we finish 24, then all of you will need to reflect whether you still have got unanswered questions. And if
okay.
any of you have got such unanswered questions, then we can have a separate session on for
Yeah.
addressing only those questions. Then we will
Okay.
go to 25th sloka after crossing that. Is that okay?
Yeah. It is okay. Whichever you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
My question 1 is why this chapter is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga?
Because this chapter, previous chapter was Karma Yoga. Krishna emphasized on one should do karma, with what attitude one should do and all that, right?
Yeah.
So if you only have that, then what will happen? Then your understanding is, okay, whole of my life I should keep on doing actions.
Yeah.
I have to, and actions invariably will lead to disturbance of mind.
Okay.
As long as you are involved, because actions, how actions spring, actions come out of a desire which is unfulfilled.
Yeah. From the void, feeling of void.
A feeling of void or feeling of incompleteness.
Yeah.
If I get this, I will become complete.
Yeah.
Suppose you are very hungry. You are given food. You eat.
Yeah.
Full. After eating full stomach, will you be able to further indulge in the same action? You won't.
No.
You will wait for the food to get digested and excreted, and then again you will eat, right?
Yeah.
So from a state of apurnatvam, which is hunger,
Yeah.
by eating, you reach a stage of purnatvam, which is the hunger is satisfied.
Yeah.
But that hunger is not going to be satisfied permanently.
Yeah.
You are again going to get hungry. So apurnatvam is going to come up again.
Yeah.
Our whole life, if we analyze, it is exactly this is what is happening. We feel apurnaha, incomplete, we do some action by which temporarily there is purnatvam, then again that apurnatvam comes again. So when Krishna talked about karma yoga, there could be a misunderstanding that this apurnatvam, purnatvam coming, in sequence. I will never ever be permanently happy, eternally be happy in my life. So is that my fate? In 4th chapter, Krishna says, no, there is a secret amongst all these things, given all your karma yoga business and all that, there is a possibility that you can be permanently happy. So that is why jnana karma sannyasa. Karma sannyasa, you can actually disengage yourself. You can disassociate yourself from the actions that you are doing, which are causing all these problems for you. You cannot physically disassociate. You can intellectually disassociate. And then, for that, jnanam is required. Knowledge is required. What is the nature of the karma? What is the nature of atma? What is the nature of anatma? You require all that knowledge, all that background in order to make that in the intellectual disassociation at the intellectual level. And that is why he is now coming to, after speaking about karma yoga, he now is answering a potential question. Is karma my Lord? I mean, I can never escape from karma. What Krishna wants to say is, you cannot escape from karma, but you can escape from the consequences of karma by understanding what is the nature of karma, understanding the whole Upanishadic teaching. By that you can do karma and at the same time be happy also. So don't come to the equation karma is always equal to unhappiness. Don't get into that wrong equation. So that is what is the essence of 4th chapter, which of course he began with Avatara Rahasyam and all that. That's all relevant rather, because when Avatara Rahasyam says, now when Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, Krishna is not speaking like a friend. Krishna is speaking like an avatara, Bhagavan incarnate, which is that words have got tremendous value.
Gitacharya.
Sorry?
Gitacharya.
Gitacharya. So you just see how the scene has changed. The character of the character, Krishna's character itself has changed. Slowly,
He is no
slowly.
more Partha.
Huh?
He is no more Parthasarathi.
He is no more
He is now,
Parthasarathi. Yeah, he is no longer Parthasarathi. He is Parthasarathi only with respect to the actions that Arjuna has to perform in the battlefield.
yeah,
But he is not a Parthasarathi for Arjuna trying to find happiness, trying to find eternal happiness. And Arjuna is thinking is totally clouded. On the one hand, he says, if I kill all my people, I will become unhappy. I will earn so much papas and things like that and all. On the other hand, he doesn't, for that reason, he wants to run away from the battlefield and also total clouded thinking Arjuna has got. So he has to address, Krishna has to address every part of it rather. And it is not a one solution fits all. There's an ultimate solution, but in between solutions also he has to offer. Now, next chapter, well, he will talk. Okay, you have to gain jnana. What are all the things that you have to do to gain that jnana? Is it easy to come? Is it just like attending some class or taking up a book, revising 10 times? Is it that jnana? Krishna will say what are all the requirements to gain that jnana. Also, he is going to talk about elaborately in the forthcoming chapters.
next chapter also is Karma Sannyasa Yogam also is.
Yes. So this is the crux of the whole thing. We should sit back and say, if you are deep thinkers, why am I facing problems in my life? Many times we will not find the answer. As Ramana Maharshi used to say, the answer lies in asking yourself, who am I? When you say, I am facing problems in life, who is the I you are referring to? Do you understand yourself what you are? That is the basic problem. But then, as Ramana Maharshi says, if we sit somewhere, close our eyes and ask, who am I? Who am I? What is the answer we are going to get? I am body, mind, sense complex only, because that is what our understanding right now is. There is no other answer in our intellect. There is no other answer in our mind. And that is why study of these scriptures become important to show us that there is actually a misconception you are having. So this is what is you. If you read it once or twice, it will not go inside. You require to repeat it again and again. So Shravanam, Maranam, Nididhyasanam, all those things are there. We'll keep discussing about all these things as we go along. So it's not possible in one class to complete.
Yeah, true.
We'll do that.
Guruji, I need one more, if not in this class, perhaps next class. I need a little more explanation about the Lord Shiva's Nirta. Nataraja. Because we have in the research institute CERN, CERN in the Switzerland, we have given them a gift of a statue of Nataraja dance. And in front of the CERN, when we enter into CERN in Switzerland, the first thing is Nataraja statue. What is the importance of the Nataraja?
Cosmic dance means the symbolism of understanding the fact that you cannot put a stop to what is going on in the cosmos. Nataraja's dance symbolizes action, fierce action, always constant action. There is not even taking a breath also, Shiva doesn't stop. That is Nataraja. So you understand that you cannot stop the movements for this entire universe for you to enjoy peace, calmness, happiness. Nataraja is the reality, the transactional reality of this entire universe. You have to accept that. And then despite that, even this all actions, this cosmic, this thing is going on, you can find peace. Because that is the Shivam in Nataraja. So Nataraja, you can actually view that Nataraja, if you have that knowledge, both as Shivam as well as both Atma and Anatma. So the Shivam in Nataraja is the Atma aspect, which is what is driving all this dance, this action at the Anatma level. So when you look at Nataraja, if you understand that Nataraja is a combination of these both, you have understood the entire Shastra. And then you have got... Sorry? If you understand Shivam...
No, you continue. Then
Sorry?
No, I didn't say anything.
I didn't say it. So when you say Shivoham...
No. Yeah.
Shivoham is also what? Nataraja is Shiva. So when you see the Nataraja idol, you must understand that idol from two perspectives. There is a cosmic dance going on, activity going on, but at the same time, there is an aspect of that Nataraja which is the Shiva aspect, Shivam aspect, which is the aspect of peace, tranquility, happiness. That is the whole symbol. Its entire Upanishad teaching, Bhagavad Gita teaching, you can actually see in that one symbol of Nataraja's dance, cosmic dance. Provided you have understanding of these things, and then you are able to interpret that like that. And that is why
this is actually, this is what you actually taught us, inaction in action.
in action, in action. That is what it is all about. That's why the Swami Paramathananda also brings in the example of Nataraja. So when you see Nataraja also, if you are able to relate to this, actionlessness in action, if you are able to relate to that, that's a teaching. And you will have to assimilate that knowledge. I mean, as of now, all this knowledge is at what? At your intellectual level. You have not owned up that knowledge. By merely saying Aham Brahmasmi, you don't become Brahman. You have to own up that knowledge. Aham Brahmasmi, I am nothing but Brahman only. So all these are all, the steps one needs to go through in this entire spiritual path. That is what it is all about. Nataraja. That's why they put Nataraja in another place. You know where?
Chidambaram.
No. In Delhi, they constructed one new conference, mega conference place that is called, I'm forgetting the name. Modi inaugurated that. And the first G20 was held in that place.
Okay, that is the new building.
New building, something they have given the name, I'm forgetting the name. There also they put this Nataraja in the front. They put it. So it's all highly deeply philosophical aspects of our religion, rather.
No, elsewhere I have also read that in the Nataraja Nirtam, his eyes are very half open. It is half closed and half open.
Meditative.
So though the body is, the body is in high vibration, whereas the eye is very, very, so that is also a symbol of inaction in action.
Correct. So when you study that Nataraja symbolism, there's so many things in that. And people have written books on that. As I told you, Western scholars have written books on that. But
there is one person by name Joseph Campbell. Campbell. He has written a book, Myths and Symbols in Indian Art and Civilization. And 20 years ago in American TV, public television, he gave several episodes on this particular aspect. And that's when I understood the significance of Nataraja Shilpam. We talked about Udukku, that, the Dumaru that's going on, and then all of that stuff. And then he connected with the Carl Sagan's
Carl Sagan,
work.
I told you, Carl Sagan and all. Yeah. They have depicted it also in movies and all that, right? So there is a very deep significance to all these things. Whenever we are studying the scriptures and all that we need to, wherever possible, bring that to our knowledge and then discuss about it, understand the simple. Because Bhagavad Gita learning is not merely learning the meaning of the slokas. It is also like Swami Paramathananda's approach and Swami Dayananda Saraswati's approach also. Bring in as many aspects of our religion, our culture, our heritage through this teaching. Don't restrict yourself only to the word meanings and sloka interpretation and all. It's a great opportunity for us to expose ourselves to our own scriptures, our own traditions and things like that and all. And such a rich cultural heritage we have got, full of symbolisms. If we understand, we will be able to explain it to others. The tragedy is most of us don't understand all these things. So whenever we get an opportunity, we must try to understand and expose ourselves to these things. Yeah. Okay, Lataji, I saw that your hands are up, but it is now missing. Lataji, are you there?
Guruji, Namaste Guruji.
Namaste.
Now, kind of my question, whatever the question is, it kind of got answered while you were replying to the other participant.
Okay.
I think I need to listen to, have patience and listen to the further clarification on the chapters. It is my thing was going to be that the intellectually, yes, you understand what the Atma is, and the way you have explained beautifully with the examples like the electricity bulb, and the hand and the light, and also the bliss that we experience in the deep sleep state. That's something that we experience every day. But then that's something that happens to us naturally. We don't have to make any effort to experience that blissful state. It is the sleep that takes over you rather than we doing going and doing the sleep. If that's not the correct word. But here, yes, after intellectually understanding what your true blissful nature is, but on a day-to-day basis, how do we keep reminding ourselves about this is what you are, and you're not just anatma, the body-mind sense complex. When you are thinking about it, yes, you know that you're there. But then once you get busy with your routine, it seems to be going out of the chimney, out of the chimney. But as you rightly said, in the further clarification, sessions is going to get clarified.
Process, yeah.
Yes.
It will happen.
Thank you.
The guarantee, Shastra's guarantee is it will happen, but you have to be at it constantly rather. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, like it has to become spontaneous rather, right? Now, whenever we are doing it, it's deliberate. Because there is a knowledge in our intellect, and we will deliberately try to apply that knowledge to every circumstance, every situation that we come across in life. That's exactly what you are saying, that other examples like electricity and the handline, they are all spontaneous. We don't even need to think about it, right?
Yes.
Now, this knowledge we have to take it to that level through the process of Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasanam, etc. It's a long.
Yeah, that's what I was going to be exactly like when we are driving. For us to remember the driving rules, we have various symbols on the road. But then, on a day-to-day basis, what kind of symbols we can set up for ourselves?
Correct.
So that is what. Okay. Thank you very much, Guruji. And Navratri greetings to you and everyone.
Same to all of you. We will meet next class. And tomorrow, of course, Vivek Sudhamani will be there. Yeah. Okay. Hari Om, all of you. Thank you very much.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.